The Unstuck Blueprint. Reclaim your life with Stoic truths. Hey, warrior. Yeah, you. The one who's tired of feeling stuck. You've been trying to fix your life, haven't you? Maybe you've devoured self-help books, spent countless hours watching motivational videos, diligently set goals, or even tried to just think positive. And for a while, it works, right? You feel that surge of inspiration. But then, as quickly as it came, it fades. Nothing seems to stick for long. The core problem, beyond external events. Now, let's hit pause and think about this for a second. Consider two individuals facing the exact same devastating event. They both lose their job. Man completely collapses. He immediately blames the economy, curses his former boss, and spirals into a pit of self-pity and inaction. His world crumbles. But then there's man B, same event. Completely different reaction. Instead of falling apart, he wakes up earlier. He strategically sharpens his skills. He reinvents his entire career path, emerging stronger than before. Same exact external event, completely different realities. Why? The answer is simple, but brutally honest. It's not life that breaks us. It's our mindset that lets it. Stoicism, your ancient key to modern control. And that, my friends, is precisely why Stoicism has become more relevant now than ever before. In a world overflowing with noise, chaos, endless excuses, distractions, and pervasive emotional weakness, Stoicism offers a profound, timeless reminder. You're the one in control, not your fleeting feelings, not society's pressures, not the echoes of your past. You see, fixing your life doesn't start with chasing a new job, fixing your relationships, or earning more money. All of those are external. It begins with something far more fundamental, far more powerful. It starts with your mind. Fix your mind, and everything else will follow. I've seen it play out time and time again, both in historical accounts and in real lives today. A warning: these aren't soft solutions. But let me give you a fair warning. The rules we're about to dive into? They are not soft, gentle advice. These are brutal, no-nonsense truths that will likely punch your ego square in the face. They are not for the easily offended. They are for the people who are genuinely sick of being stuck. Sick of living on autopilot. Sick of breaking down every single time something doesn't go their way. If that resonates with you, if you're truly ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and start forging your own path, then you're exactly where you need to be. Your path forward. 15 unshakable rules. In this video, I'll walk you through 15 powerful Stoic rules that will empower you to take back unshakable control of your emotions, your daily habits, your ambitious goals, and ultimately, your entire life. Every single rule is inspired by the profound teachings of legendary Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, the very core of ancient Stoic philosophy. But don't worry, we'll break them down in simple, modern language that anyone can understand and immediately apply. No philosophy degree required, just a willingness to look inward and act. We're going to go deep into building emotional strength, forging mental discipline, cultivating radical self-awareness, and embracing the often painful, but absolutely necessary, process of becoming who you were truly meant to be. And with each rule, I won't just tell you about it. I'll give you a real Stoic quote or principle to anchor it. These aren't just for decoration, they're tools for you to reflect on and live by. Your first step: commit to control. So, before we even begin with rule number 1, here's what I want from you. If you're genuinely ready to finally stop blaming the world and start rebuilding yourself from the ground up, if you're ready to conquer your emotions instead of being helplessly controlled by them, if you're ready to fix your mind and, by doing so, fix your life, then I need you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I will no longer live at the mercy of my emotions. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, comment below, share this video with someone who desperately needs this message, and subscribe to the channel for more Stoic-based life strategies designed for the modern world. And most importantly, do not skip any part of this video. Every rule is connected, building on the last. Every one of them will fundamentally change the way you think. If you let it, let's begin. Rule 1. Stop letting money control you. Master sufficiency. Alright, let's talk about something that silently dictates the lives of so many adults in America: money. Whether it's the relentless pursuit of more, the gnawing anxiety about bills, or feeling trapped in that endless cycle of consumerism, financial obsession is a silent killer of peace. This isn't just about debt, it's about the deep-seated fear of not having enough, or the insatiable drive to accumulate endlessly. This constant financial churn often leads to crushing stress, sleepless nights, and a tragic neglect of everything else that truly matters in life. The Stoic perspective: money is a tool, not a master. Now, the ancient Stoics had a brutally clear view on this, and it's more relevant today than ever. They understood that money is merely a tool, never the ultimate goal. They knew true value isn't found in your bank balance or investment portfolio. Instead, it resides in self-mastery, inner tranquility, and living in alignment with your deepest values. Happiness, they argued, cannot be bought. The real key, the bedrock of a good life, is sufficiency. Think about it. How often do we chase an arbitrary number, believing just a little more will finally bring peace? The Stoics would challenge you to define enough. Actionable Stoic strategies for financial freedom. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in our modern, money-driven world? Define your enough. This is where it gets real. What does a meaningful, fulfilling life actually require? Not what society tells you, but what you genuinely need to live well. Pinpoint that number, or those core essentials, rather than perpetually chasing a vague more. This isn't about deprivation, it's about clarity. Practice moderation instead of mindless spending. Learn to find contentment with what you already possess. Resist the urge to constantly acquire the newest gadget or trend. Can you truly appreciate the things you have before craving the next? Invest in experience, not just material possessions. Shift your focus. Cultivate a life rich in experiences, genuine relationships, and personal growth. These are assets that compound in value over time. Unlike a new car or the latest tech, Seneca, one of the great Stoics, advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." The outcome: reclaiming your energy and purpose. When you stop letting financial anxiety dictate your every move, something incredible happens. You liberate immense energy. That mental bandwidth, once consumed by worry or endless pursuit, now becomes available to invest in what truly fuels your spirit, your health, your relationships, and ultimately, your life's purpose. This isn't just theory, it's a profound shift that countless individuals have made to break free from the invisible chains of financial obsession. Ready to declare your independence from the relentless pursuit of currency? Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My worth isn't measured in dollars. My peace is my true wealth. Rule 2. Embrace solitude to find yourself. The power of being alone. Alright, let's confront another uncomfortable truth in our hyper-connected world: the fear of solitude. For so many of us, especially here in the US, being truly alone has become a terrifying prospect. We're conditioned to fill every quiet moment, every mental gap. We scroll endlessly through social media, binge watch shows, or frantically seek external validation just to avoid facing ourselves. Solitude isn't just a state, it's become an enemy, a void we desperately try to fill. The Stoic perspective: solitude as an opportunity. But the Stoics saw something profoundly different. They didn't view solitude as a weakness or a punishment. Instead, they recognized it as an invaluable opportunity. For them, moments of quiet reflection were essential for self-examination and the rigorous training of the mind. Think about Marcus Aurelius, writing his meditations, not amidst courtly chaos, but in moments of quiet contemplation. They understood that it's only when you truly disconnect from the external noise, when you're truly alone, that you can genuinely listen to your inner voice. This is where you gain clarity, understand your deepest desires, and forge an inner strength that is independent of external validation or the constant presence of others. It's where your authentic self can finally breathe. Actionable Stoic strategies for cultivating solitude. So, how do we transform this fear into a powerful tool for self-mastery? Schedule me time, just as you schedule important meetings or workouts. Block out dedicated time each day or week to be completely alone. Put your phone away, turn off notifications, and resist the urge to fill the silence. Treat this as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Practice self-inquiry. Use this precious time for genuine self-reflection. Journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence and observing your thoughts and emotions can be incredibly powerful. Ask yourself the hard questions. What truly matters to me? What am I avoiding? What choices align with my values? Learn to entertain yourself. Discover or rediscover activities you genuinely enjoy doing solo, without needing external validation or an audience. This could be reading a good book, going for a long walk, learning a new skill, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee in silence. The goal is to find joy and contentment in your own company. The outcome: unshakable inner peace. When you bravely embrace and leverage the power of solitude, a remarkable transformation occurs. You'll tap into a deep well of inner strength and unshakable peace that can't be disturbed by external circumstances. Your well-being will no longer be dependent on who's around you or what others think. You become self-sufficient, emotionally resilient, and truly free. Are you ready to stop running from silence and start building your internal fortress? If so, join me in this declaration. I embrace my solitude. It is the forge of my strength. Rule 3. Live with real purpose, not fake purpose. Redefine success. Let's be brutally honest about how success is often defined in our modern culture. We're constantly bombarded with images and messages telling us it's all about external milestones, that high-powered job title, the sprawling house, the dizzying number of followers on social media. This narrative pushes us into a relentless rat race, chasing one external achievement after another. But here's the insidious trap. This pursuit often leads to a profound neglect of our personal values, leaving us feeling hollow and empty. Even when we do reach those so-called successes, does hitting a certain income bracket truly fulfill you if it costs you your peace, your relationships, or your health? The Stoic perspective, the true measure of a life. The Stoics offered a radically different, and far more liberating, definition of success. For them, true success wasn't about what you acquired, but about how you lived. It wasn't about external accomplishments, but about cultivating a meaningful life aligned with core virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. They understood that your purpose in life isn't something you earn or find externally. It's about the way you embody your values, day in and day out. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, spent his life in power but found purpose in his philosophical reflections and dedication to duty. Not just his imperial might. His true legacy wasn't conquest, but character. Actionable Stoic strategies for purpose-driven living. So, how do we shift our focus from fake, external purposes to a real, internal one? Identify your core values. This is your foundational work. What do you truly believe in? What principles genuinely guide your decisions? Above and beyond money or status? Is it integrity, compassion, personal growth? Define these clearly. Live in alignment with those values. This is where the rubber meets the road. Does every decision, every daily action you take, genuinely reflect those core values? If you value honesty, are you being honest even when it's uncomfortable? If you value health, are you consistently making choices that support your well-being? Authenticity breeds true purpose. Seek to contribute, not just accumulate. Shift your focus from merely acquiring things for yourself to actively creating value for others, for your community, or for the world at large. Purpose often crystallizes when you step outside your own immediate desires and contribute to something larger than yourself. The outcome: internal joy and lasting fulfillment. When you commit to living with true, authentic purpose, a profound transformation occurs. Joy and deep satisfaction will emanate from within. You'll no longer be reliant on external validation or fleeting achievements to define your worth. Your sense of fulfillment becomes self-generated, unshakable, and infinitely more durable than any external accolade. Are you ready to stop chasing society's definition of success and forge your own meaningful path? If so, commit to this powerful truth. My purpose is my compass. My actions are my legacy. Rule 4. Don't fear failure. Fear not learning. Turn stumbles into stepping stones. All right, let's tackle a huge elephant in the room. Especially in our hyper-competitive society, the paralyzing fear of failure. For many of us, failure isn't just an outcome, it's a mark of shame, a forbidden topic. This deep-seated fear often stops us dead in our tracks. It makes us hesitate to try new things, unwilling to take necessary risks, and all too quick to give up the moment things get tough. We'd rather stay safe and average than risk falling flat on our faces. The Stoic perspective: failure as your greatest teacher. But the Stoics had a radical, liberating view. Failure is not the end, it's an indispensable part of learning and growth. They didn't see obstacles as roadblocks to be avoided, but as opportunities to strengthen their resilience, cultivate patience, and sharpen their wisdom. The only thing truly to be feared, they argued, is failing to learn from your mistakes. Think about the greatest inventors, entrepreneurs, or athletes. Their paths are paved with failures, experiments that didn't work, deals that fell through, games that were lost. Yet, each of those stumbles provided critical data, lessons learned, and the grit needed to eventually succeed. As the Roman philosopher Seneca put it, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Your failures are simply the friction that polishes you. Actionable Stoic strategies for embracing failure. So, how do we shift our mindset from fearing failure to actively learning from it? Redefine failure. Stop seeing it as a definitive end. Instead, treat every setback as a valuable experiment, a data point. What hypothesis did you test? What did the results tell you? This mindset immediately takes the sting out of failing. Analyze. Don't blame. When things don't go as planned, resist the urge to spiral into self-recrimination or to point fingers at others. Instead, adopt a detached, objective analysis. What went wrong? What was within your control? What external factors played a role? This critical self-reflection is where real growth happens. Get up and iterate, or adjust. The Stoics believed in action. Don't wallow. Quickly get back on your feet. Adjust your strategy based on your new insights. And continue moving forward. Your experience, even the painful parts, becomes your most valuable asset. The outcome: unstoppable resilience and continuous growth. When you genuinely stop fearing failure, you unlock an incredible superpower, unleashed potential. You free yourself to push boundaries, to learn continuously, and to become incredibly resilient in the face of any challenge life throws your way. The obstacles you once dreaded become the very catalysts for your strength. Are you ready to stop letting the fear of falling keep you from soaring? If so, join me in this powerful affirmation. My failures are my lessons. My resilience is my superpower. Rule 5. Stop performing happiness. Live authentically, not a lie. Alright, let's talk about the illusion that's quietly eroding our well-being, especially in this age of constant connection. The pressure to perform happiness. With the explosion of social media, so many of us feel this relentless push to present a perfect, curated life. We're constantly flexing our happiness, showcasing our successes, and demonstrating how incredibly busy and important we are on every platform. The insidious result? A never-ending hamster wheel of comparison, pervasive insecurity, and a gnawing feeling of not enough. No matter how much we achieve, we're exhausted trying to keep up with an image that might not even be real. Not even for the person posting it. The Stoic perspective. True value from within. But the Stoics had a timeless antidote to this modern affliction. They understood that true value doesn't reside in outward appearances or the fleeting approval of the crowd. Their philosophy fundamentally shifted the focus inward. A Stoic strives to build an unshakable inner fortress and to live truly in accordance with their own nature. rather than constantly performing a play for an audience. For them, validation had to be an internal process, not dependent on likes, shares, or comments. Epictetus put it best: if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This means being okay with not fitting the perfect mold others expect. Actionable Stoic strategies for authentic living. So, how do we break free from this happiness performance trap and start living authentically? Drastically reduce social media consumption. This is often the first, most powerful step. Spend less time mindlessly scrolling through your feeds and, critically, less time comparing your messy reality to others' carefully curated highlight reels. Less input from the perfection performance means less pressure to perform yourself. Focus on what's real. Consciously shift your energy towards genuine connections, real-life experiences, and personal growth that doesn't need to be documented or validated online. Prioritize deep conversations over quick comments, shared laughter over staged photos, and true self-improvement over public boasts. Embrace self-honesty. Grant yourself permission to be imperfect. Accept the less than glamorous moments of life, the struggles, the bad days, the times you don't feel on. There's profound strength in acknowledging your authentic self, without feeling the need to hide or embellish. The outcome: deep peace and genuine connections. When you stop performing for an invisible audience and begin to live your unvarnished truth, something truly transformative happens. You'll discover a deep, abiding sense of inner peace, free from the anxiety of constant comparison. Your mind will quiet, and you'll find yourself capable of forging more genuine, meaningful connections with the people who truly matter. Because you're no longer presenting a facade. Are you ready to shed the mask of performative happiness and step into the power of your authentic self? If so, join me in this liberating affirmation. I live my truth, not for likes. My authenticity is my freedom. Rule 6. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Video opens with a visual of an alarm clock being snoozed, or someone about to eat junk food but then hesitating. The music is slightly tense, then shifts to empowering. Hey, let's dive straight into rule number 1, because this is where most people derail. The biggest mistake we make when trying to fix our lives, when trying to become that stronger, better version of ourselves, is this: we try to negotiate with our weakness. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, just one more hour of sleep won't hurt? Or, I'll start that diet tomorrow. This last indulgence is fine. Maybe it's, I'll stop texting them after this one last time. Even though you know they're toxic. What we often don't realize is this: every single time you negotiate with weakness, weakness wins. And when weakness wins often enough, when those small concessions stack up, they become ingrained. They become who you are. The brutal truth: your strongest self is suffocating. Let's unpack that. That strongest version of you, the disciplined, the focused, the confident person you envision, isn't buried under some profound mystery. It's simply being suffocated by years of comfort, years of excuses, and years of emotional indulgence. You can't become that version of yourself if you keep giving in every single time life gets hard, or even just slightly uncomfortable. You can't fix your life if you keep folding every time you feel bored, lonely, or anxious. This isn't about blaming, it's about seeing the pattern. The Stoic way, training for adversity. The Stoics understood this perfectly. They didn't seek comfort. In fact, they trained for adversity. They knew that every moment of suffering, every hardship endured, every temptation resisted, was a victory for the soul. For them, discomfort was a gym for the mind. When faced with a choice between the easy path and the right path, they chose the right, knowing it built character. Now, ask yourself, when your alarm goes off, do you rise like a warrior? Or do you let your emotions hit snooze? When you feel that anxiety creeping in, do you sit with it, examine it, and grow stronger? Or do you immediately distract yourself with social media or food? When you're tempted to slip back into a bad habit, do you hold the line? Or do you say, just one more time? Act now. Betray your future no more. Here's the brutal truth. You will never fix your life until you kill the version of yourself that keeps making excuses. There is no lasting peace without discipline. There is no true greatness without sacrifice. And there is no strong mind without facing down your own weakness and declaring, "Not today." Every single time you delay your potential, you're not just wasting time, you are betraying your future self. So, the next time you're tempted to stay in bed, text that toxic person, or waste another day scrolling, you don't reason with it. You don't argue with it. You don't try to explain it away. You get up. You shut it down. You choose strength over comfort. Because that, my friend, is how warriors are built, action by action. And I don't care how far behind you feel, or how much you've failed in the past. The moment you stop negotiating with weakness, the healing begins. If you're ready to draw that line in the sand, drop this affirmation in the comments right now. No more deals with weakness. I choose strength. Rule 7. Control your reactions, or be controlled by them. Alright, let's talk about something that can either build your unbreakable peace or completely hijack it: your reactions. Picture this scenario. Two people hear the exact same insult. One person laughs it off like it's nothing, barely registers it. The other carries it in their chest like a knife for weeks, letting it fester and ruin their sleep. Same words, same exact moment, completely different realities. Why? Because it's not the insult itself that hurts. It's your reaction to it. It's not the traffic jam that ruins your day. It's your decision to rage about it. It's not the breakup, the rude coworker, or the professional setback that defines your emotional state. It's how you interpret and respond to those events that ultimately determines your inner peace. The problem: living as emotional slaves. The harsh reality is, most people live as emotional slaves. Their peace is constantly being hijacked by tiny moments, by external circumstances that are utterly beyond their control. They hand over command of their mood to strangers, to comments online, to things they simply cannot change. Think about that for a second. Are you truly free if your mood can be dictated by a random driver cutting you off? Or a dismissive email? The Stoic solution: the power of choice. But Stoicism teaches the absolute opposite. It hammers home a fundamental truth. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Let that sink in. Every single time you snap at someone, every time you overthink and spiral because of something external, you are literally giving away your power. And what's even worse, you become predictable. People who can't control their reactions can be manipulated with alarming ease. They're like puppets. Pull the right string, and they'll explode, cry, panic, or freeze. Is that how you want to live? Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the world during his time, reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Actionable steps to master your response. So, how do you seize this incredible power and take control? Step 1. Slow down your reaction. The moment you feel triggered, that surge of anger or anxiety, pause, take a deep breath, mentally step back from the situation. Ask yourself, what part of this do I actually control? If the answer is nothing external, then the only battlefield is internal. Step 2. Separate facts from emotions. This is crucial. She said something rude. That's a fact. I'm not good enough because of what she said. That's a story you just told yourself. Train your mind to see things clearly. Stripped of emotional fog. This takes practice, but every time you do it, you're strengthening your mental muscle. Step 3. Reclaim your peace. Peace doesn't mean becoming passive or weak. It means becoming unshakable. It means learning to respond with calm power, not panic. It means accepting that your response is always your responsibility, no matter how unfair life seems. The outcome: becoming unbaitable. People who can master their reactions become dangerous in the best possible way. Why? Because they can't be baited. They don't fall apart under pressure. They choose their moves carefully, deliberately, and they truly live on their own terms. And make no mistake, this is a skill you can build. You don't need to be born calm. You train it like any other muscle. Every time you don't react emotionally, every time you hold your center, you prove to yourself that you are not your feelings. You are the master, not the storm. So, the next time someone pushes your buttons, remember this: their words are powerless unless you give them power. Their behavior is not a reflection of you, but how you respond always is. You want to fix your life? Then stop reacting to every little thing like your piece is up for auction. Choose your response like a warrior preparing for battle. Deliberate, sharp, grounded, because the man or woman who owns their reactions owns their life. Ready to declare your control? Drop this affirmation in the comments. My peace is mine. I will not hand it over. Rule 8. Do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. Alright, let's get brutally honest about something we all face: resistance. Most of us know exactly what we need to do to change our lives. We know we should wake up earlier. We know we need to stop wasting time scrolling. We know we need to cut out those toxic influences. Exercise consistently. Study that difficult material. Learn to say no more often. Or finally speak up for ourselves. We know it, but why don't we do it? The answer is simple, but painful. Because it's hard. Because it's uncomfortable. Because our fleeting feelings scream louder than our deep-seated discipline. And that, my friend, is the core of the problem. We wait for inspiration to strike, for motivation to magically appear, for the perfect feeling to kick in before we act. The Stoic Forge, embracing discomfort. The ancient Stoics never waited to feel ready. In fact, they did the opposite. They trained their minds to expect resistance. They saw discomfort not as an enemy, but as a forge for character. They understood that if your actions are always tied to your emotions, if you only move when you feel like it, you will never build a meaningful, impactful life. Think about it. A soldier doesn't wait to feel brave to go to battle. They go because duty demands it. A surgeon doesn't wait to feel motivated to perform a critical operation. They do it because lives depend on their skill. Here's the raw reality. You're not always going to feel like doing what's right. You're not always going to feel like showing up. You're not always going to feel motivated. That's just life. Motivation versus discipline. The crucial distinction. But here's the key difference between a weak person and a strong one. The weak wait for motivation. The strong rely on discipline. Motivation is emotional. It's a mood. A fleeting high that, like all highs, fades. But discipline is a decision. It's a system. It shows up even when you don't feel like it. Discipline gets you out of bed when motivation whispers. Sleep in. Discipline makes you show up even on your worst days. Every single time you choose to do the hard thing. Especially when every fiber of your being wants to resist. You are building mental armor. You are telling your mind, I don't need to feel perfect to act with power. Hitting the gym when you're exhausted? That's a victory. Having that tough conversation you desperately want to avoid? That's growth. The decision to walk away from comfort and face your deepest fears? That's real strength. Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Think about how many battles you've already lost in your head before you even tried. How many goals you've delayed, not because they were impossible, but because they felt uncomfortable. The cost of waiting, years you won't get back. If you genuinely want to fix your life, you've got to stop fearing discomfort. Start chasing it. Lean into it. Because the things you avoid today often become the regrets you carry tomorrow. Here's the truth. You'll never truly feel ready to change your life. There will always be a reason to wait. But the cost of waiting isn't just wasted time. It's years you'll never get back. So what should you do? Wake up and do the work anyway. Even if your mind resists. Even if it feels unfair. Even if no one claps for you. You don't need applause. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to do the damn work. And when your body wants to quit, when your emotions start whining, when your thoughts begin doubting, that's when you push harder. Because those precise moments are where true strength is born. Remember this. You can choose the pain of discipline now, or the pain of regret later. But either way, you will suffer. Only one of those paths builds the life you truly want. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop expecting it to be easy. Real change is ugly. Real change is lonely. Real change is painful. But it's also worth it. Every hard thing you do now becomes a softer, more fulfilling future later. Every resistance you face now becomes a story of pride tomorrow. Rule 9. Cut the noise and master your focus. Alright, let's face it. We live in a world that's constantly screaming at us. Think about it. Notifications buzzing. Breaking news alerts. Endless messages. The latest gossip. Targeted advertisements. Warnings. Opinions. You're being pulled in 100 different directions simultaneously. Often without even realizing it. And then you wonder why you feel anxious. Why you feel lost. Why you feel so disconnected from your own goals. The problem? A scattered mind. A wasted life. Here's the brutal truth. You cannot fix your life if your mind is scattered. It's like trying to fill a bucket with 1,000 tiny holes. Your energy, your time, your potential, they're all leaking out into the endless noise. The ancient Stoics, long before smartphones and the internet, intuitively understood this. They weren't just about silence and strength, they were about clarity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." He didn't say multitask. He didn't say scroll for inspiration. He said focus, deep, deliberate attention. Now, genuinely reflect on your daily life. How often are you truly, fully present in what you're doing? How many hours are lost to meaningless scrolling, to overthinking past events, or to distractions that don't contribute to your growth? The problem isn't just attention deficit, it's where your attention is going. Because that's precisely where your energy, your time, and your potential are going too. And here's another brutal truth no one wants to admit. Most people aren't addicted to laziness. They're addicted to noise. They can't sit alone in silence. They can't work for more than a few minutes without checking their phone. They can't stay on one path long enough to master anything. And if that sounds like you, this isn't a judgment, it's a warning. Because a distracted mind, left unchecked, becomes a wasted life. Actionable Stoic strategies for laser focus. So, how do you fix it? How do you reclaim your most valuable asset, your attention? Step 1. Cut the digital noise. This is non-negotiable. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set strict time blocks for social media. Use your phone as a tool, not a leash. Do you really need to know about every single email the second it arrives? Step 2. Create sacred space for deep focus. Even just 60 minutes a day. No distractions. No multitasking, just you and your most important work. This is where clarity lives. This is where self-respect truly grows. This could be the first hour of your day, or a dedicated slot after dinner. Make it non-negotiable. Step 3. Train your attention like a muscle. Start small. Practice being fully present in simple things. Truly tasting your food, deeply listening to a conversation, feeling your feet on the ground as you walk. The more you deliberately do this, the stronger your focus becomes. The world will always try to grab your attention, but you get to decide what truly deserves it. A Stoic doesn't chase everything, a Stoic chooses deliberately. Because a focused man is a dangerous man. He can build, he can improve, he can grow, he can lead. Let me tell you this. Your ability to fix your life is directly tied to your ability to focus on what truly matters. The distractions will keep coming. The noise will always be there. But if you can master your attention, you can master your world. So, starting today, cut the meaningless, silence the noise, and give your energy to the things that actually build your future. If you're ready to take back control of your mind, drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I control my focus. My attention builds my future. Rule 10. Stop seeking approval. You don't need permission to grow. Alright, warrior. Let's let this next truth land like a punch to the gut. We all claim to love ourselves more than other people. But we care more about their opinions than our own. That's Marcus Aurelius talking, and it never ceases to amaze me how true it remains today. We say we want to grow. We say we want to become strong, independent, even emotionally untouchable. But then, what do? We hesitate. We doubt. We shrink back. The problem? The approval trap. Why? Because we're terrified of what other people will say. Because we desperately want to be liked. Because, deep down, We often seek permission before we truly move forward with our own lives. We wait for the collective nod, the social validation, before we dare to change. But here's the stark reality that Stoicism forces us to face. The world doesn't care about your potential. And you absolutely don't need its approval anyway. You simply cannot fix your life if you're constantly waiting for people to clap for your every move. This isn't just about strangers, it's about anyone whose opinion holds you back. The uncomfortable truth: growth causes resistance. Here's what no one tells you: the more you genuinely improve yourself, the more resistance you'll face. And not always from enemies. Often, it's from the very people closest to you. Why? Because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your discipline highlights their laziness. Your newfound confidence might threaten their comfort zone. And so, what do? They mock you. They doubt you. They try to keep you in the old version of yourself, the version they can understand and, crucially, control. But a Stoic does not live to please others. A Stoic lives according to virtue, not approval, according to truth, not popularity. Epictetus, another great Stoic, taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Think about what that means. If you're afraid of looking weird, being misunderstood, or standing alone, you will never truly rise to your potential. You'll stay average. You'll stay silent. You'll stay stuck, just to stay accepted. Your liberation, the power of self-permission. But let me be brutally honest with you. And this is a truth you must internalize. No one is coming to save you. No one is obligated to believe in you. No one can give you permission to become who you're meant to be. Except for you. The moment you truly stop needing approval is the moment you become immensely powerful. Because you no longer wait, you act. You no longer beg, you build. You no longer explain, you evolve. So what if they laugh at your new habits? So what if they don't understand your boundaries? Your newfound silence, or your obsession with self-growth? You are not here to be understood by the small-minded. You are here to become unshakable. And if walking this path means walking alone, then walk alone with fierce pride. Because greatness has always been a lonely road, but it's also the most honest, the most rewarding, and ultimately, the most freeing road of all. So stop waiting, stop apologizing, stop explaining yourself. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You just need to decide, definitively, that you're done playing small. Rule 11. Silence is power. Speak less. Master more. All right, let's confront a pervasive truth in our loud world. Everyone wants to be heard. But very few actually want to listen. What's the result? An endless cacophony of noise. Empty opinions. Superficial lives driven by the need to fill every silence with words. Even if those words are meaningless. We live in a society that often equates speaking up with intelligence and silence with weakness, but nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoic perspective: silence is mastery. The Stoics knew this. They understood that silence isn't a weakness, it's a profound form of mastery. Think about the wisest people you know. Do they constantly talk? Or do they listen intently, choosing their words carefully, making every utterance count? A person who speaks less gains immense advantages. They listen more, and therefore, they learn faster. They absorb information instead of just broadcasting their own. They respond instead of reacting. There's a deliberate pause, a moment of reflection, before they engage, which allows for wisdom to emerge rather than impulsive emotion. They conserve their energy. Talking, explaining, defending, it's all expenditure. Silence is conservation, allowing you to harness your power for meaningful action. When you're constantly talking, you expose everything: your fears, your insecurities, your plans, your weaknesses. You become a wide-open book that anyone can read, predict, and manipulate. But when you master silence, when you choose your words with intention, others cannot read you. And that, my friend, is a powerful advantage. It keeps your true strength guarded. Consider the person who, when insulted, simply stares calmly. No reaction, no defense. The power of the insult evaporates. Or the person who, when others are gossiping, simply listens, offers no judgment, and moves on. They retain their integrity and their peace. Actionable Stoic strategies for cultivating powerful silence. So, how do we integrate this ancient wisdom into our modern lives? Step 1. Embrace the instant delay. When you feel that urge to immediately respond, to defend yourself, to offer an opinion, don't consciously choose to delay your response. Take a breath. Let the moment hang. Step 2. Get comfortable with being misunderstood. Not everyone will get you. Not everyone will appreciate your quiet strength. And that's perfectly fine. Your peace is more valuable than external validation. Let go of the need to explain yourself to everyone. Step 3. Focus on becoming, not performing. This is crucial. True growth happens in the shadows, not on a stage. Work on yourself, refine your character, and build your strength when no one is watching. Let your results, your actions, and your unwavering resolve be your loudest statement. You don't need to announce your intentions, you just need to execute them. The outcome: disciplined purpose. The Stoic path is not loud. It's not flashy. It's disciplined, focused, deliberate, and deeply effective. And it begins with the profound power of silence. When you learn to speak less, you free up mental space. You sharpen your observational skills. You cultivate an inner calm that external chaos cannot penetrate. You become a force, not a fleeting thought. Are you ready to wield the silent power that others fear to embrace? If so, make this affirmation your new standard. I will let silence speak for my strength. Rule 12. Own your mistakes, without shame or excuses. Alright, let's get into a crucial, yet often avoided, part of true self-mastery: how you deal with your screw-ups. Look, everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. Whether it's a bad financial decision, a hurtful comment, a missed opportunity, or a habit you just can't seem to kick. But here's the critical distinction: the dividing line between a life that stays broken and a life that gets rebuilt. It's how you confront those mistakes. Do you face them like a warrior, or do you flee from them like a coward? The problem: blame, excuses, and hiding. The vast majority of people choose the latter. They blame external circumstances. They make elaborate excuses. They twist the narrative. They hide the truth. Or worse, they lie to themselves. And this isn't just about big, dramatic failures. It's about the daily, subtle ways we avoid accountability for our actions, our words, and our choices. We try to rewrite our past to feel better about our present. But that only keeps you stuck. The Stoic perspective: brutal honesty is invincible. The Stoics offered a different, and profoundly liberating, path. confront reality with brutal, absolute honesty. They understood that the only way to become truly unconquerable is to be rigorously honest with yourself. Why? Because shame keeps you paralyzed, dwelling in the past, afraid to move. But acknowledgement, true, clear-eyed acceptance, liberates you. Think about it. When you make an excuse, you're not just fooling others, you're lying to yourself. You're creating a false reality where you're always the victim, never the agent. And if you're never responsible, you can never change. As Marcus Aurelius urged, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This includes the pain of your own past errors. Owning your mistakes isn't about wallowing in regret. It's about a powerful, defiant stance. Yes, I messed up, I fell, but now, I will get up, and I will not go back there. It's about learning, adapting, and using that hard-won wisdom to propel you forward. Your past isn't a life sentence, it's a lesson. Actionable Stoic strategies for radical self-honesty. So, how do you cultivate this radical self-honesty? Stop explaining. Start acknowledging. The moment you catch yourself making an excuse or trying to justify a mistake, halt. Instead, simply say, I made a mistake, or I was wrong. Don't elaborate, just state the fact. Embrace the discomfort of accountability. It's uncomfortable. It feels vulnerable. But that discomfort is where growth lies. Don't shy away from the feeling of having messed up. Sit with it, learn from it, and then let it go. Turn lessons into action. Don't just acknowledge, act. What specific, actionable change will you make to ensure you don't repeat that mistake? This is how raw experience transforms into profound wisdom. The outcome: resilience and unstoppable growth. Your wounds, your scars, your past failures, don't hide them. They're proof that you lived. They're evidence that you fought. They are the undeniable mark that you learned. Develop a radical honesty with yourself. You simply cannot fix your life if you keep rewriting your past to make yourself feel better. The moment you can look yourself in the mirror, acknowledge your shortcomings without shame, and declare your commitment to doing better, that's the moment you become truly unbreakable. Because you've faced the worst parts of yourself and found the strength to improve. Are you ready to own your past to build a better future? If so, join me in this powerful declaration. I own my past and I rise with purpose. Rule 13. Discomfort is your teacher. Stop running from it. Alright, let's hit you with a core truth that separates the strong from the weak. Most people spend their entire lives running from discomfort. The moment we feel even a flicker of unease, whether it's the frustration of a difficult task, the pang of loneliness, the boredom of waiting, or the anxiety of uncertainty, what do? We reach for the phone. We scroll endlessly. We grab a snack. We distract ourselves. We numb ourselves. We do anything to avoid sitting with that feeling. The problem? Sacrificing growth for comfort. This constant escape is the silent killer of potential. You see, when you continuously run from discomfort, you're not just avoiding a feeling, you're sacrificing your growth. You're telling your mind and body that you are too fragile to handle anything tough. You're opting for instant gratification over long-term strength. And this, my friend, is why so many people feel stuck, perpetually operating below their true capabilities. The Stoic perspective: discomfort as your forge. The Stoics had a radically different approach. They didn't see discomfort as an enemy, they saw it as a teacher. A test, a catalyst for breakthroughs. They understood that you cannot build a muscle without tearing it down through strenuous exercise. You cannot forge a mind of steel without pushing it through hardship. You cannot develop resilience if you're constantly seeking the path of least resistance. Think about it. Every time you avoid a hard conversation, you lose an opportunity to build courage. Every time you skip a workout, you miss a chance to strengthen your discipline. Every time you numb out, you bypass a lesson waiting to be learned. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, routinely subjected himself to discomfort, understanding that it was essential for maintaining his inner strength. He knew the soft life leads to a soft character. So, ask yourself, what discomfort are you running from right now? Is it the discomfort of facing your finances? The discomfort of silence? The discomfort of honest feedback? The discomfort of sitting with your own thoughts without distraction? Actionable Stoic strategies for embracing discomfort. So, how do we transform this fear into a powerful tool? Stop automatic escape. The next time you feel that urge to distract yourself from discomfort, pause. Recognize the impulse. Don't immediately act on it. Just sit with the feeling for a few moments longer than you normally would. Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of running, lean into it and ask, what is this discomfort trying to tell me? What strength is this pain trying to build within me? Is it teaching you patience, resilience, clarity, the ability to delay gratification? Lean into the struggle. If you're working on a difficult project, don't quit when it gets hard, push through. If your body wants to stop during a workout, do one more rep. If your mind screams for distraction, commit to 5 more minutes of focused work. The outcome, becoming unstoppable. Here's the powerful truth. Every heartbreak, every failure, every delay, every rejection you experience is not a punishment, it is preparation. It's the universe's way of refining you, of making you tougher, wiser, and more resilient for what's coming next. Stoic thinking isn't about feeling good all the time, it's about becoming good. Becoming strong, becoming virtuous, even when things are incredibly tough. The moment you stop fearing discomfort, the moment you actively seek it out as a teacher, that's the moment you become truly unstoppable. You become unbeatable, unshakable, and truly in control of your own destiny. Because if you can handle discomfort, you can handle anything. Are you ready to turn your discomfort into your greatest ally? If so, declare this truth. Discomfort is my teacher. I no longer run. Rule 14. Discipline over motivation. Build it daily. All right, let's cut through the noise and talk about the real engine of change. Discipline. Many people chase motivation like it's some magical unicorn. They wait for that surge of inspiration, that burst of energy, before they even start working on their goals. But here's a hard truth for you. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from doing what you have to do, especially when you don't feel like it. That, my friend, is discipline. The problem, the myth of motivation. The world tells you to find your passion, to follow your bliss, to only work when you're feeling it. But what happens when that feeling isn't there? What happens when the initial excitement fades? Most people just stop. They hit a wall and then they give up, waiting for the motivation to return. And for many, it never does. they live a life dictated by fleeting emotions, never building anything substantial because they confuse a temporary mood with a sustainable system. The Stoic solution: a system, not a feeling. The Stoics knew this. They understood the critical distinction between motivation and discipline. Motivation is an emotion. It's a mood. It's a fleeting spark that, like any spark, will eventually fade. You can't rely on it. Discipline is a system. It's a decision. It shows up even when you don't want to. It's the unwavering commitment to your values and your long-term vision, regardless of how you feel in the moment. The Stoics trained their minds to ignore emotions when those emotions were unhelpful. They didn't build their character, their habits, or their virtues based on how they felt that morning, but on who they decided they wanted to become. They cultivated inner resilience that allowed them to act virtuously, consistently, regardless of external circumstances or internal whims. Think of it this way: you don't feel like going to the gym every single day, but discipline gets you there. You don't feel like making that tough phone call, but discipline makes you dial. You don't feel like denying yourself that immediate gratification, but discipline helps you build delayed gratification. Actionable Stoic strategies for building discipline. So, how do you stop being a slave to your feelings and start building an ironclad discipline? Stop chasing motivation hacks. Forget the endless search for quick fixes or inspirational quotes that only last 5 minutes. Instead, focus on building small, consistent, daily habits. Embrace daily discipline. This means committing to consistent action every single day, waking up on time, sticking to your exercise routine, controlling your diet, dedicating time to learning, maintaining focused work, and practicing mindfulness or meditation. These aren't just activities, they are acts of self-mastery. They are your daily reps for your mental muscles. Automate your good habits. Make it harder to fail than to succeed. Create routines that don't require willpower for every step. The less you have to decide, the more you simply do. The outcome: unshakable consistency. When you cultivate discipline, you create a foundation that will carry you forward when motivation inevitably vanishes. You won't need to rely on fleeting inspiration anymore, because you'll have transformed into the kind of person who moves forward no matter what. You'll become your own driving force. This is how true freedom is earned, not by chasing whims, but by mastering yourself. Not by waiting for inspiration, but by committing to consistent, deliberate action. Because consistency isn't sexy, but it's what builds empires, both outside and within. Are you ready to stop waiting for motivation and start building unwavering discipline? If so, declare this truth: my discipline fuels my freedom. I build it daily. Rule 15. Stop living in your head, live in your actions. All right, warrior, we've arrived at the final, and perhaps most crucial, rule. This is the one that brings everything together. The one that truly determines if all the wisdom we've discussed actually changes your life. It's this: stop living only in your head. Start living in your actions. The problem: the gap between thought and deed. It's incredibly easy to think about being better, to imagine yourself stronger, wiser, more disciplined, to dream of the life you want. You can read every self-help book, watch every motivational video, memorize every Stoic quote, but none of that, not a single bit, will change your life. What changes your life is action. Specifically, purposeful, consistent, aligned action. Here's the harsh reality for most people. They live two completely separate lives. There's the life inside their head, a realm of noble intentions, grand goals, and profound wisdom. And then there's their actual, everyday reality, a life often riddled with contradictions, excuses, and inaction. They'll tell you they want peace, but then spend their days gossiping and complaining. They'll say they value health, but never make it to the gym. They'll claim to be disciplined, but surrender to every impulse. The Stoic truth: philosophy is for living. The Stoics had no patience for this gap between thought and deed. For them, philosophy wasn't just something to think about, it was something to live. A true Stoic didn't just talk about self-control, they practiced it. Every single day, they understood that all the eloquent words, all the profound insights, all the intellectual understanding in the world are utterly meaningless if your daily actions contradict them. Think about it. You can tell yourself you're courageous, but if you always shy away from confrontation, are you truly courageous? You can think about being productive, but if you spend your days procrastinating, what does that make you? Your actions are the only true measure of who you are. What you do speaks infinitely louder than what you think or what you say. Epictetus warned, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This isn't about grand gestures, it's about the micro decisions you make every single moment. Do your actions align with the person you claim to be? Actionable Stoic strategies for aligned living. So, how do you bridge this gap and start truly living your philosophy? Stop performing. Start embodying. Stop pretending. Stop talking a big game. Stop rehearsing your future life in your head. Instead, simply show up and act. Do the thing. Take the step. Embrace action over perfection. Don't wait for perfect conditions or perfect feelings. Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency and alignment. It's better to take imperfect action than to remain in perfect inaction. Focus on daily alignment. Every single day, ask yourself, am I living as the person I claim to be? Are my actions today reflecting the values and goals I say I hold? This daily audit, this constant check for integrity between your thoughts and your deeds, is your most powerful tool. The outcome: wholeness and unstoppable momentum. When your values and your actions finally align, when what you say and what you do become one, something profound happens. You'll feel a deep sense of wholeness, a profound inner peace, and a rising tide of self-respect. You stop being at war with yourself. And when your actions consistently reflect your values, you become truly dangerous, not to others, but to your own weaknesses, your own excuses, your own limiting beliefs. You become unstoppable because there's no internal resistance holding you back. You become an embodiment of your philosophy, a living example of what it means to be truly free and powerful. This is the ultimate test. It's the difference between merely understanding Stoicism and actually being a Stoic. Don't just absorb these rules, live them. Are you ready to fully step into the person you claim to be? Not just in your thoughts, but in every action? If so, commit to this final, most powerful affirmation: I will live as the person I claim to be. Conclusion: your unbreakable blueprint for an unstoppable life. All right, warriors, we've walked through 15 brutal, honest truths, 15 unshakable Stoic rules that aren't just feel-good advice. They are fundamental, ego-shattering principles designed to forge an unbreakable character within you. From mastering your emotions to embracing discomfort. From finding true purpose to living authentically. And from silencing the noise to acting with unwavering discipline. These aren't just ideas. They are a blueprint for a life truly lived. The transformation, from victim to master. If you commit to applying these principles, day in and day out, here's what you'll find. You'll stop living as a victim of your emotions and your environment. You'll stop being controlled by every distraction, every fleeting feeling, every minor setback. You'll begin to live like a true Stoic, not emotionless, but emotionally resilient, not perfect, but consistently aligned, not always loud, but undeniably powerful in your clarity and action. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming free. Free from the internal chaos. Free from external pressures. Free to build a life on your terms. Guided by your values. Sustained by your inner strength. The challenge: choose the hard path. Let me be clear. This path is not easy. It demands self-awareness, brutal honesty, and consistent effort. It requires you to confront your deepest weaknesses and choose discipline over comfort, courage over fear, and truth over delusion. But understand this: it is the only path that leads to a life filled with true self-respect, undeniable clarity, and genuine inner freedom. Don't let this video just be another wave of motivation that crashes and disappears tomorrow. That's the trap we talked about in the very beginning. You've heard the wisdom. You know the way. Now, you must act. Your call to action. Start today. So, here's your final call to action. Right now, pick one rule that resonated most deeply with you today. Just one. And commit to applying it, to living it, starting in the next 24 hours. Then, tomorrow, pick another, and keep building, brick by disciplined brick. Because remember what we started with? The problem isn't life itself, it's our mindset. And the solution starts in the same place. If you're ready to make that commitment, if you're truly ready to embody these truths and reclaim your life, then let your final affirmation ring out in the comments below. Let it be a declaration, a vow to yourself that you are done living at the mercy of anything external, and you are ready to master your internal world. I fix my mind. I fix my life. Thank you for watching. Now go and live like a Stoic. And if this journey, these brutal truths, resonated with you, if they sparked something deep inside, then here's what you can do to help us reach more people who desperately need to hear this message. Hit that like button right now to show your support. Share this video with someone you believe needs to fix their mind and reclaim their life, because one share can change a destiny. And finally, if you're serious about forging an unbreakable mindset and living a life of purpose, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future insights. Your journey to mastery continues here.